guide dogs.
Previously, on the journey of a guide dog mum, Kim, had her ultrasound scan to confirm pregnancy.
And there you see the first little embryo.
And Tim and Janine took us through the moments before and after birth.
To be a volunteer breeding dog holder for guide dogs is absolutely wonderful. Our puppies generally are with us for the first 7 weeks. I think it's one of the most rewarding things to do. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the best feeling to have a guide dog mum that will stay with us and we know will stay with us forever. To have the puppies is an absolutely wonderful bonus, and we can't wait for each litter to come. It's so exciting.
So our guide dog mums and dads are all looked after out in our breeding dog volunteers' homes. It's a really, really good setup. Dogs live there with their volunteers for the duration of their career and beyond. It's a lovely environment, especially for our mums that are going to ideally give birth in that home as well.
I first became a breeding dog holder when Vicky rather excitedly passed all her medical tests to become a guide dog mum. We've had Vicky since she was 7 weeks old. She's 6.5 now, so having had her 4th litter, this was her last opportunity for a litter. She's had actually 43 puppies for guide dogs. She is a wonderful mum. She knows what to do instinctively. A typical day as a breeding dog holder varies from birth to the 7-week mark. As they get older, we have to clean them out, we play with them, we talk to them. Someone is with them in all daylight hours. Everyone who's a volunteer breeding dog holder has a breeding dog advisor, and one is allocated, but there is a whole team behind the scenes. So there's 24/7 service, and it's wonderful because it's seamless. We can phone at any time and speak to anyone that we need to.
So guide dogs are very good. We provide pretty much 90% of the equipment that all the volunteers will need. So that would cover things like food, feeding bowls, feeding stations for the pups, cleaning, disinfectant, the whelping bed itself, extension panel, so when the puppies grow we can taper their development to the equipment that we've got.
They also bring scales so that we can weigh Vicky, mum, every week and adjust her food as necessary, and a separate set of scales so that we can weigh the puppies every day.
When puppies are born out in the volunteers' homes, there's typically 3 stages that they'll go through for their development. From birth to 2 weeks of age, they're spending a lot of time with mum. Mum's their sole care provider. They'll be getting all their nutrition from mum, and that's through her milk. They'll spend probably 90% of their time they'll be asleep, and their awake time is just constantly feeding on demand, and mum is in constant supply and need. I'm just checking that puppies are gaining the weight that I would expect them to gain through the early stages.
Some of them start to walk from 2 weeks, very tottering about, and that's a miracle, and you just want, again, to watch them 24/7. It's just so beautiful to see them doing it.
Every week from birth I'm clipping nails and I'm weighing them. As they get a little bit older, everything starts to develop, so their teeth start to come through, and I'm having a look at making sure that their teeth are all lining up together. We're looking more of their motor development, so their movements. Sometimes looks a little bit shaky to start with, it's just because their brain's developing and their pathways are being formed for movement as well as noise. And that their skin and coat are in good condition. There's not too much scurf or dirt around the coat. We worm them at 2 and 5 weeks as well. It's really important in that stage of development along with mum. In the home, they will almost see those personalities develop from around 2 weeks. I see it more probably around 3 to 4 weeks. I'm seeing them once a week. I get to see the ones that are a little bit more outgoing, the ones that are probably a little bit more fearless.
There's the greedy ones, the playful ones,
You've also got some that are probably a little bit more reserved sometimes. From 2 to 4 weeks of age, their senses are starting to come alive more, so their eyes start to open, ears are opening, they're more aware of the world around them, and that is when they're very much aware of people. The human contact is really great to be formed at that point. It's where our volunteers are crucial in helping them in that early socialisation phase, getting them used to different sorts of objects, sometimes some sounds, some touches. That's the beauty of having puppies in a home, because you've got a natural environment for puppies to learn from. So the washing machine, the dishwasher, the television, the radio, conversation. The last sort of stage in their development is the socialisation stage really, and it's from around 4 weeks of age. They will certainly be much livelier, much noisier.
They can learn what squeaky toys are, crackly toys are, hard, soft, and then they can go out to play in the garden from 4 weeks on. There's also a lot of paperwork that will help us along with tick lists, so that we can say, yes, the puppies have met a man with a beard, or a toddler with a rattly toy, and things like that.
Socialisation starts really from birth really, but there's some things that are better or more appropriate at certain stages. So for instance, puppies can't hear really until they're around 3 weeks of age. So at that point, we'd be giving them more auditory stimulation to sort of mimic sounds that you might not ordinarily capture in the home environments. That's something like maybe babies crying, some fireworks going off, air brakes from lorries, things that are fairly novel, but is really key for our guide dogs as they get older. So what the idea behind that is that we put it in their subconscious on a low level. So when they experience those sounds again in their working life, they haven't got that fear response. You know, they're thinking, okay, I know what that is. This is fine. It reminds me of being in a nice environment at home. And it really, really works well, and it helps their socialisation greatly.
When the puppies leave us, it is such an emotional day. I can feel myself thinking about that now. It's also a big milestone, so that Vicky knows she's not upset by it. She sees them and say goodbye to them. She knows they're going, and then she can move on. We can all move on, and we can get the house back to normal.
The pups will stay with the breed dog holders in their home environment until they're just over 7 weeks, which time they'll all come in together and they'll stay with their sibling group at the National Centre. So all together with your brothers and sisters, yes. And when they come in, they will be microchipped and vaccinated. They'll have a health check by a vet, and then during that time we will continue to monitor them, weigh them, clip nails, etc. Puppies will be named when they come into the National Centre. The majority of puppies are named through sponsorship, so we have 2 schemes. We have Sponsor a Puppy, where we have 3 puppies. People can sponsor them. And we also have a Name a Puppy scheme, where people can name a puppy and will receive updates on how they're doing. We'll also continue with the socialisation programme that was started in the volunteers' home. So we continue with exposure to everyday objects and sights and sounds, handling and interaction, but all in a fun and positive manner for the pups, and making it a nice, safe experience for them.
Coming up next, find out how our guide dog puppies develop at different stages of their puppy raising journey.